Yo, what's good, guys? So, I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw someone suggest maybe it's time to split up KPJ and Jalen Green. And do I believe that? Hell no. However, I do have an adaptation that will elevate the game of both of them. But before I get into the idea, please like, share, subscribe. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So this is KPJ's basically third year in Houston, 2.5 seasons, but third year, and Jalen Green's second year. So their second year together as being a backcourt, and they've showed promise. Like, both of them are exciting players. They are flamethrowers and overall are just straight buckets. However, there's an issue. This is the third year the Rockets are trying to convert KPJ into becoming a pure playmaker, and he just isn't. Jalen Green and KPJ are both shooting guards, with KPJ more so than Green having the ability to be a facilitator, but he's not a primary playmaker. He can't be your main facilitator for your team. So my suggestion would be moving KPJ to the bench and signing a pure playmaker in the offseason. Now, if you land the second pick in the draft, Scoot Henderson might fall into your laps, and he's a very good playmaker and passer, and it's a phenomenal overall point guard. He can be a pure point guard for your team that can really set up the plays and make things easier for both Green and KPJ. However, you might not get Scoot Henderson. Even if you do, there's rumours that depending on how the Sixers do in the playoffs, you might be able to lure Harden back to Houston. Regardless, those are both two optimistic angles to look at it. But whether you get Scoot, Harden, both or neither, it's important the Rockets get some sort of veteran that can just be a pure playmaker for this team. Now, I haven't really looked at who's going to be available this offseason. I will do a video on that later on. But it's essential the Houston Rockets invest into getting a pure playmaker, because a big knock on Jalen Green's game is efficiency, inconsistency, and overall forcing up shots. Well, you can attribute some of the blame to Jalen Green, but you can't necessarily put that solely on him because he doesn't have someone who can set him up. So attaining a pure playmaker will not only make Jalen Green's life easier, Kevin Porter Jr.'s, but also a guy like Jabari Smith Jr., whose handle may not be where it needs to be, but having a playmaker who can find him in the post, can find him off pick and pop situations and get him set into the spots he likes and feels comfortable in, will just overall elevate his game and make the Rockets a more competent team. So I do believe that getting a playmaker who's a pure passer is the right way to go. But let's say you don't necessarily get that. You could kind of run a Denver Nuggets type offense. Like, I'm not going to say Sengun is near Jokic's level yet, but he's a phenomenal passer, and the only bigs I can comfortably say are better passers than him are maybe Sabonis and Jokic. So how about run the offense through Sengun a bit more, which is what was done when Kevin Porter Jr. was out, and use him as more of like your, not primary facilitator, but a guy you can run your offense through the post, because it does find some success. Because look at the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray's an okay passer. He's a decent one, but he's not amazing. Michael Porter Jr. don't pass the damn ball. So the ball running through Jokic and him being your main facilitator from the post can work. So the Rockets can kind of look at that model and try and adapt it to their own. But I feel like the main thing is getting a pure playmaker in the offseason and just relieving some of the duty of KPJ, because I believe that Kevin Porter Jr. has star potential. But it's not fair to put this responsibility on him where you're kind of putting him in two minds. Do I score? Do I be a primary facilitator? Yes, he has some skill and ability to get 6-7 assists and be a tertiary or secondary facilitator, but to be the primary one, I'm not too sure about that. And I know you guys might get mixed up. Being a primary ball handler and being a primary facilitator are slightly different. And I feel like Kevin Porter Jr. can be a primary ball handler, but when it comes to actually getting guys set into their plays and into motion, I feel like you need someone else who can do that and take that duty off Kevin Porter Jr. So as a whole, I think it will be foolish to separate this backcourt. Again, with another body at point guard, which isn't Daisha Nix. I'm talking about an actual point guard. You can maybe stagger the lineups to the point where KPJ and Jalen Green may share the court together, but it may be also with another ball handler, point guard, facilitator next to them, because if you guys are forgetting, Kevin Porter Jr. played a lot of small forward for the Cavs. So I see a world where there could be a lineup where you have insert point guard, let's say for argument's sake, Scoot Henderson, Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. I'm not saying that should be your main lineup, but that could be a rotation that works, a lineup that works, you never know. But as a whole, it'd be dumb to separate this backcourt, because in year two, Jalen Green's averaging 22, 4 and 4. Like, come on now. Yes, the efficiency is the question, but you saw games where he'd go for 40 and have ridiculous efficiency. He has the most 40 and 30-point games by miles in this draft class, and it's evident that this guy has star-level talent. Put him next to a guy who can put him into the right positions, make his life easier, will only help his efficiency numbers elevate even further, and you're going to see the real side of Jalen Green. And same as Kevin Porter Jr., I can say the same thing. So would I separate this backcourt? No. Would I trade either of them? No. I would just simply make both of their lives much easier by attaining and signing or drafting a pure playmaker point guard. Before you guys say what happens to Ty Washington, Ty is a very nice player with a lot of potential. I just don't feel like he's ready yet for the role of being the primary playmaker for the Houston Rockets just yet. He can take Daishen Nix's minutes. I don't know why he's still on the roster. You better go in the offseason, respectfully to him. But yeah, but that's all I really got for this video. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know your opinions and anything else in the comment section down below. But honestly, that's all I got for today's video. Stay blessed and I'm out. Peace.